Gasson is sitting here at this table. Kirk called me. Our sons were football colleagues at a private Mayor Lutheran High School. And Kirk called me out of the blue and said, you know, we chaired an auction committee together. Our wives are best friends. I'd like to have breakfast with you once a month. I know I would get a lot out of it. And here's a successful business person. And I thought, you're going to get a lot out of this? I'm going to get a lot out of this. And so for a year and a half, he and I have been meeting every month. And here's what we do. Here is, I think, a success habit of what we do when we meet, is we say, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your personal life right now? Very, very simple. And why? And what 3 goals are you going to work on the next 30 days that will make it a 10? Second question, where's your business life right now on a scale of 1 to 10? And why? And what 3 goals are you going to work on between now and our next breakfast? I mean, it has been powerful for me. Because you know what goes on my list? Inhibitions. It's almost always inhibitions. If I want to be a 10 in my business, if I want to be a 10 in my family, the things that are shackling me are inhibitions. And it's someone else looking into my life who helps me become unshackled. It's the power of who. And I can't tell you what I've achieved since we have breakfast every 30 days. I probably lost 25 pounds. My relationship with my wife is far better. One quick example of how someone can help break through inhibitions. I don't think my past secretary is here, but I had a really bad executive administrator. And when I would say my work score right now is a 5, why? I got an issue at work. I got to deal with this. And my own procrastination would take over, but someone else looking into my life wouldn't allow it to happen. And he looked me straight in the eye and said, when are you going to deal with this? And how? And how can I help you? And he would nail me on it. The one that I particularly remember him nailing me on was, I said, you know, my family score right now is probably a 6. Why? My daughter's 18, she's headed for college, and I have got to deepen that relationship. I don't want her to leave the house without really nailing the fact that I love her deeply, and I want her always to look back at this dad-daughter relationship. And he said, are you open to feedback? Yes. And I just knew it was coming, because he doesn't let me off the hook. And he said, this has been on your list for 3 months, pal. He said, what time is it right now? I said, it's 8 o'clock. He said, when's your next meeting? I said, I got to catch a plane at 11. He said, between 8 and 11, you're going to call your daughter. I don't care if she's in school, leave a voicemail. Invite her to breakfast before one day of school next week. I hate when I do this. So anyway, I did that. And he helped me break through inhibition. So what I thought we would do, let me see if I got my notes, if I got everything else. Because it's right at 8:20, Paul, is that about right? Time-wise? I thought I would do an intro. I've never done this before, but I thought I would try this. Is as you think about the life that you imagine, with the 7 F's as a context, if what Kirk did for me was help me break through an inhibition by having fresh eyes on my issue, because I don't have fresh eyes on my issue, do I? But when someone else looks at my issue, suddenly it can be crystal clear. Say, well, have you tried this? Have you tried this? And I'll say, having somebody else help unshackle me with my inhibition was extraordinary. So I thought what we would do as a table discussion, there's cards on the table. Are these done, Paul? That look like this, and there's room on the back. I want you to write down something that you dream about or think about doing to achieve the life that you imagine, that you have inhibition, not prohibition, that you can't, I want, some kind of a goal, like I want to drive a $300,000 Bentley. That's kind of prohibition. Right? I am prohibited financially from doing that. But what is an inhibition? That something's getting in the way. So as you think about writing on the card, something that you would say is a dream that I think about achieving or doing or having, but there's something getting in the way that's an inhibition. I want you to write it down. I want you to fold it and throw it in the center of the table. Okay, so take a minute to do that. And then we're going to distribute them back out to the table as long as you don't get your own. So the idea then is, are fresh eyes on what your inhibitors are helpful? Does that make sense as an exercise? So take one of these cards, write one or two things on here that is something you think about achieving or dream about, but there's some kind of inhibition getting in the way. Throw them into the center or give them to one person and then redistribute them. And that will create our table talk for fresh eyes on somebody else's inhibition. Okay? You know what? The question is, should we write the inhibition as well? What do you think? Is that helpful? So maybe put the dream or goal and put the inhibition. Okay? And then we'll redistribute those to create our table talk. Make sense? All right. Ready, set, go.
Need a pen or pencil?